Hey there, Ed from Barnabas Robotics. This is a video on how to uh, add larger code into your Barnabas-Bot. So we have some students who they want to do some more complex coding on the Barnabas-Bot project using the Windows/Mac IDE, which see here, which you can see here on the screen. And they're like, where do I put all the extra code? So just kind of an overview. If you look at the screen here, you see this box on the right, and you're gonna see this red rectangle here. That shows the workspace. Okay, so you can see that if you put some, a block here, you can navigate to a different part by going to the red box here and then going down for example, and putting a block down here, and then to navigate back there, you can click on that red rectangle and then go back up. So you can see that it's a pretty big workspace. See, right now I'm just scrolling. It takes me a while to get all the way back down here. Now you can quickly do it by clicking on the red rectangle and dragging. So it is pretty expansive, but let's say if you want to go beyond that workspace, a couple things you could do. So the first thing I would recommend is changing to the subroutine mode. So you go here, I'll show you how to do that. If you go to the project, you want to click on Barnabas Racer. So Barnabas Racer is the second level, level 2 robot with a lot more functions on it. Okay, so you have the same blocks as before, but you have a few extra ones. Now the block that we're gonna use, I'm gonna bring your attention to, is subroutine. Okay, so you can use a subroutine to help eliminate any repeated code. And I'll show you what that means. Let's say I have a loop here, and I want to do an LED on, and then I do a let's see, I think I use wait for the Barnabas-Bot. So do I have a wait? I have, oh, it's a delay in this case. Delay 1000 milliseconds is the same as 1 second. Okay, and then another late, and then not the delay micro, delay milliseconds here. Okay, so let's say I have a bunch of places in my code where I blink LED 1 on and LED 1 off. Okay, just to make it correct in the Barnabas-Bot, we use 7, so I'm gonna leave it 7 on and off. Okay, and let's say you had a bunch of these. So for example, I cloned that entire part. I'm gonna clone it again. Okay, and it's getting kind of long, right? I'm gonna clone it again. Okay, so let's say you had that. I think I do it 4 different times. What you can do is, for a subroutine, is take the code that's repeated, these 4 blocks, throw it into here, and let's call this Blinky. Okay, and then instead of having all these blocks here, you can just get rid of this, throw this in the trash, go back to control, and go to this subroutine call. So not the big one, but the subroutine call, the smaller one. We put it in here, and we just name this the same as this name, Blinky. Okay, so then now what the subroutine does is whenever the main loop sees this, it automatically goes and references the code here and does that. Now you can just clone this and do it a second time. Clone this and do it a third time. Clone this and do it a 4th time. So now we blink 4 times, okay? But your code looks like this, a lot more condensed than it did before, okay? So that's another trick you have to change to the Barnabas Racer mode and use subroutines to minimize your code. Let's see here, and here's another thing that you could try. Repeat is another thing. So let's say I do this. I'm trying to do this 4 times, right? So instead of that, I can throw this in there and say I want to call the Blinky command, which will reference this 4 times. So that cuts down the code even more. So the repeat block and subroutines can really help minimize your code. So those are things to try. Another thing that was asked is, should we go to text code? So if you start writing really complex code and really long code, at some point the blocks become cumbersome. The blocks will be so, you have the whole mess of blocks versus some clean text. So that's also a route to go. Now if you're using this IDE right now, you might ask, how do I get the text version of this code that I see here? It's a little bit tricky, so let me show you. All right, so let's say I upload. I don't have anything connected to my computer, so it's going to give me an error, but let's say I upload. And it says, no device connected, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But the reason I want to do that, if you look here on the bottom here, I don't know if you could see, but it says C users Edward app data loca temp underscore sketch. That is where the text version of this code is. So you're gonna have to go there. So we're gonna go to our directory. Okay, and what did it say? Go to C. Okay, and then go to users, and then go to Edward. And then you're like, wait, I don't see app data. What's going on here? Because it's a hidden file. So you gotta go to view, and then click on hidden items, so it shows hidden items. Okay, and then you'll see app data. So that's a tricky thing. All right, so if you want to look at the app data, you have to show hidden files. Then you go to app data, and then local, and then temp, and then the temp sketch folder. And then there it is right here. Okay, so I would just go here. I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna say open with just like Notepad or just a text thing, a text program, so you can see the code. And then here's the code. You see that? And if you, okay, so this code looks a little bit kind of like there's a for loop in there. You're like, what's going on? So there's a lot going on here. So let me simplify it so that your code is easier to read. So I'm gonna get rid of these subroutines things and just throw just the old school, just 4 blocks in the loop, no subroutines, no repeat. So then I'm gonna do this. So then now if I go back to that folder, this should be updated. Yep. Okay. Now you can see this code is actually pretty readable, right? So you can look and say, it's setting up the pins here. So I need that. And then here's my loop. Okay. So I would you leave this stuff alone. But if I want to do my my code, I see, look, I turn LED 7 high, wait 1000, which is wait 1000 milliseconds, which is to wait 1 second. And then, oh, I have a bug here. See, this should be 7 here. Looks like I messed up on my blocks there. And then you kind of go from there. So if you want to start doing the text route, that's what I would do. Now, how do we upload this code? You can't do it through the IDE. You can't do it through this thing. You have to do it through the easiest, honestly, is to go to the website. So I'm going to copy this. Then you go here, code.barnabasrobotics.com. Make sure that you see this screen. If you see this screen here, this is blocks again. You don't want that. You gotta go to click here, it's text, and then you just delete all that and paste in the code that you got from this file. And then if you're working with the Barnabas noggin, you gotta go to not Uno. You gotta click on noggin for the board, and then you click upload. Okay, and then I don't have a device, but there's going to be a device that shows up here. You gotta make sure you click the right one, click connect, and then it'll send the code over. Okay, so this would be, if you want to move to text coding, this would be the quickest way. So you don't have to download anything additional. You do need internet access, and you do need, this is Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. I believe are the two that work with this website as coding site here. So Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Okay, so I hope that tip helps you. hope those are some viable options. If you have any questions or comments, always feel free to reach out. All right, that's it for now. Bye.